Today we're going to be looking at an extremely rare Plants vs. Zombies bootleg pillow set. Most of the plushes in this set are based off of the Xing plushes, but some of them are also based off Xing plushes and other type of plushes. But the majority of the bootlegs in this set are based off of a singular set, so yeah, with all that said, welcome to a look at the Plants vs. Zombies Xing bootleg plushes. Starting off with the first plush, we have the sunflower pillow. Now, by far the weirdest thing about this entire plush is that the head shape is pretty weird looking. As well, for some reason the bottom of the face is really stretched out and the top of it's very small compared to the rest of it, so yeah, that's one really strange detail that I noticed about this plush, and I really don't know why they did that. And well, besides the weird face shape on this plush, the rest of it actually looks fine. The face is kind of lacking some details, but it doesn't really need a lot of details, and it kind of uses the least amount of details possible, but it still ends up looking pretty good. The eyes and the mouth are made out of an iron-on material, so they could get pretty easily cracked and damaged. The petals on the sunflower plush is just made out of a normal plush material, and they look fine. But yeah, the only really details on this plush that I don't like is that the head shape is pretty weird, and also it's the wrong color as well. For some reason it's an orange color. Obviously it's not supposed to be an orange color, it's supposed to be a darker brown color, but besides that, it still looks pretty good. There are a few pictures of this plush that look like they have a dark brown face, but I can't really tell if that's just a variant of this plush or if it's just the lighting of the picture. So there could possibly be variants of this plush that do have darker faces, but I don't really know because, well, it kind of matters on the lighting of the image. But yeah, overall, the sunflower plush isn't too bad, and if you want it, it's extremely rare, so you can look on websites like eBay and Zanyu, but it'll take a while to find probably. Next up, we have the jalapeno. Now this plush is actually based off the jalapeno pillow from Xing. In my opinion, it's actually a pretty bad looking copy as well. There's some bootleg jalapeno pillows that actually look pretty good, but this one's definitely not one of them. As well, for some reason the face just seems to be too small for the rest of the plush, and it seems that the face is mostly on the left, and there seems to just be a huge gap between the right of the face to where the actual eyes are, so yeah, it seems that the face is kind of just off-centered. And the stitching on the mouth also kind of looks weird, and same thing with the eyes. It just seems that the stitching that they use is just slightly different than Xing's actual stitching, so it kind of looks weird. The stem on this plush is also a lime green color instead of being a dark green color, and it's definitely not accurate to how the jalapeno stem is actually supposed to look as well, but it's too wide. But yeah, there's definitely a few distinct details on this jalapeno plush that makes it look a bit different from the Xing one, and well, you probably won't have to worry about accidentally buying this one. As well, I've only been able to find 3 images of it, and one of them being extremely low quality, so yeah, I have no idea how much of this plush was sold, and it seems to be extremely rare. So yeah, you probably won't have to worry about getting this plush instead of the Xing jalapeno, because well, it's honestly probably just as rare as the Xing jalapeno pillow, and if you want it, you can look on eBay or Zanyu. Next up, we have the squash plush. Now this is probably the most well-known plush in the entire set, mostly just for how the squash looks. As well, his face looks pretty weird, mainly just because his eyes are just completely wide open and they're huge. The reason why they look like that is because there's no eyebrows that go over the eyes like basically every single other squash plush, so it ends up making him look really weird. As well, instead of the eyebrows being actual plush material and going over the eyes, it's just ironed on, so it ends up making the plush look pretty weird. But yeah, the eyebrows and the eyes could get damaged pretty easily, and same thing with the mouth because, well, they're made out of iron-on material, so they could get cracked really easily. The squash plush also kind of looks inaccurate just because, well, there's not a lot of detail on it, as well, but it's basically just a squash-shaped pillow with a bunch of iron-on it. As well, the details on the bottom of it that are supposed to make it more 3D looking and also make it more defined aren't actually there, and they're just ironed on. And it ends up making the plush look really weird because it has no extra definition on the bottom of it, and instead they just use a bunch of iron-on material, which makes the plush look pretty weird. This plush also has a bit of iron-on material on the top of it, trying to do the exact same thing as the bottom of it to make it have more definition, but it ends up just making the plush look really weird. But yeah, this plush probably would have looked better if they didn't just fully rely on iron-on material and just use some plush material on it. But yeah, the stem on this plush is basically the only thing that looks somewhat good on this plush and isn't easily damageable. But yeah, if you want this plush, it's pretty rare and I've only ever seen one for sale, so if you want it, you can look on eBay and Zanyu. Moving on, we have the Starfruit. The Starfruit Plush is obviously based off of the bootleg Starfruit Plush, and well, it basically is just a big version of that plush as well, but uses basically the exact same pattern. As well, since this plush is technically supposed to be a pillow, it's basically just a huge version of the bootleg Starfruit, just with a bunch of iron-on material on the face. And well, if I say they got the Starfruit shape pretty good, it's just that the face looks kind of weird because well, it's the exact same face as the bootleg Starfruit, which also looks weird. But yeah, the eyes and the mouth could get damaged extremely easily due to it being made out of an iron-on material, so it could get cracked really easily. And well, the small stem on the top of it is the exact same as the normal bootleg Starfruit as well, but seems that they just copied the exact same pattern from that plush and used it on their own plush and just made it bigger. But yeah, this is definitely the most common design for a Starfruit plush as well. Basically every single bootleg company uses this exact same design. And well, this plush is basically impossible to find as well, since it looks like every single other Starfruit bootleg, you can't really tell the difference between the others. So not only is this plush extremely rare, you probably won't be able to tell when it's actually the correct bootleg one as well, it's extremely hard to find and it looks the exact same as the others. But you could still try to look for this plush on websites like eBay and Zanyu, but it'll be extremely hard to tell which bootleg is which. Moving on, we have the Tall Nut Plush. Now just like the squash, this plush would have looked better if it wasn't basically fully reliant off of iron-on material. As well, just like the squash, all the plush's details that are supposed to add extra definition on the bottom of them don't really do it that well, as well they're just iron-on material and not actual plush material, or they're just not stitched on. And well, that's also what made these plushes original variants look really good, and well, the bootlegs just don't really show that as well, but seems that they were made very cheaply, which makes sense because well, they're bootlegs. But yeah, they got the correct shape on this plush, and they obviously did a good job stealing the pattern of this plush and making it basically look the exact same, they just didn't use the right materials. As well, the eyes, eyebrows, mouth, and all the extra details on the bottom of the plush are all made out of iron-on material, and while they look fine compared to the original, they're just made out of some really low quality materials. So technically it does look accurate to the original plush, it's just that the plush falls apart really easily due to bad materials being used on it. But yeah, it's definitely not a bad looking plush, and well, I actually have to say they did a pretty good job making it look good. It's just that the materials used on it just aren't that good, and if you want it, you can look on eBay and Zanyu, but make sure to take good care of this plush if you do get it. Moving on to the final plush in the set, we have the zombie. Now, I honestly have no idea which plush this bootleg is actually based off of as well, but I've looked for other zombie head pillows that look similar to this one, but there's actually none I could find. So this could possibly be a unique plush that this company made, but I do doubt it as well. Every single other plush in this set is stolen, so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this one also was. I just couldn't find the original plush. So there is technically a small possibility this could be a unique plush made by this company, but I do doubt it. But yeah, for the plush itself, it doesn't really look that bad. It's just that the eyes kind of make this plush look weird as well. They're facing opposite directions instead of just facing in the normal way. So I honestly don't know why they did that, but besides that, the rest of the plush looks fine. The mouth kind of is like very simplified looking mouth as well, but doesn't really have a lot of details on it, so it just kind of looks extremely simplified compared to basically every other zombie pillow. And once again, it's just kind of a shame that most of the details on this plush are made out of an iron-on material, as though the plushes themselves don't really look that bad. It's just that the materials used on them are really easily damageable. And honestly, I think this entire set would just be a lot better if it wasn't made out of an iron-on material, as well I think the plushes would not only look better, but they would also hold up better. But yeah, this is a pretty weird looking zombie head plush, and well, if you want it, you could look on eBay and Zanyu, but I've never seen a listing for it for sale. And well, that also goes for basically every single other plush in the set besides the squash as well. I've only ever seen one listing in the squash, and all these other plushes in the set I've never seen a listing for. So yeah, it just seems to be an extremely rare plush set. But yeah, comment down below which plush in the set is your favorite, and if you enjoyed this video then please like and subscribe, and yeah, have a great day.